Assalamu alaikum. This is Ghulam Abbas from MH Language Solutions. Well, British and American English are two different varieties of English, which means these are two different kinds of English. British and Americans, they speak many words differently. I mean to say, they have different words for the same meaning. They want to say the same things, but they use different words for it. Let's try to understand with an example. You might have heard the word holiday and vacation. Holiday, vacation. Both words mean the same thing, having a day off. British, they say it's a holiday, and Americans, for them, it's a vacation. So you see how the people of both these varieties use different words for the same meaning. Similarly, there is another word, that is rubber, eraser. Rubber, eraser. It's actually a small object that we use to remove something that we have written with a pencil. But British, they say rubber, and Americans, they call it eraser. In this today's video, we are going to have a look at more words of the same nature. We'll try to talk about some more words which are used by British and Americans differently, but they have same meaning. So let's start. The first pair that we are going to discuss is petrol versus gas. Petrol, gas. Petrol is a word that is used by British. They say petrol or a petrol station, but for Americans, it's a gas station. Similarly, another word is chips. Chips versus fries. Chips versus fries, and sometimes they say French fries. British say chips, and Americans, they call it fries. Chips versus fries or French fries. Another word that comes is trousers versus pants. Trousers versus pants. Trouser, it's a piece of clothing that we wear to cover our under parts of the body. British, they call it trousers, and Americans, they have pants for it. Then nappy versus diaper. Nappy versus diaper. It's a small piece of cloth or piece of paper that is used to tie the bottom of a baby so that he may not get himself wet. For British, it's a nappy, and Americans, they say it's a diaper. Similarly, there is another pair that we have is biscuit versus cookie. Biscuit versus cookie. British, they say it's a biscuit, and for Americans, it's a cookie. Biscuit versus cookie. Next item is again a clothing item, jumper versus sweater. Jumper versus sweater. British, they call it a jumper. They sometimes also call it a sweater, but Americans, they always call it a sweater. They never say it's a jumper. Then we have waistcoat versus vest. Waistcoat versus vest. It's a clothing item that we use to cover the upper part of our body. It is normally worn over a shirt and it doesn't cover your arms. British, they call it a waistcoat, and Americans, they say it's a vest. Lift versus elevator. It's a small room in any building, and people use this room to travel up and down. British, they say it's a lift, and Americans, for them it's an elevator. Lift versus elevator. Then the last word that we have today, it's the difference between number plate versus license plate. It is a piece that shows the registration number of your vehicle. And British, they call it number plate, and Americans, they say it's a license plate. So that is all for today. Stay tuned for the coming exciting videos. Allah Hafiz.